Niagara Regional Police have turned over the Port Colborne site, where human remains were found, to the Ministry of Heritage, Sport, Tourism and Culture Industries. Thursday, police were called to a home under construction on Sugarloaf Street, just east of Isabel Street, at 10:13 a.m. after a contractor found unidentified remains. Emberg's backhoe service was digging in the front yard of the home, which sits between 239 and 229 Sugarloaf Street and across from the Port Colborne Urgent Care Center and Newport Center, at the time of the discovery. Work halted for the day after the find. Forensic officers and the Regional Coroner's Office investigated the remains on the property. Police are not investigating the remains as a criminal matter. Under two different areas in its mandate, the ministry on the culture side looks after cemeteries and burial grounds in the province, to either designate them under the Ontario Heritage Act, part of heritage conservation districts, or as archaeological sites.
Port Colborne Historical and Marine Museum's archivist Michelle Vosberg said the area around Sugarloaf and Isabel Streets was once home to a large cemetery that began in the 1830s during a cholera outbreak along the Welland Canal. It was in active use until 1900, said Vosberg, adding it was called the Gravelly Bay Burying Ground. She said there's not a lot known about the cemetery or its exact extent, and added police paid a visit to the archives Thursday to get some information on the site. Maps provided by the museum show two graveyards marked within 300 meters of each other on what's now Sugarloaf Street. The first is where the remains were found Thursday. The second is east at Elm and Sugarloaf Streets on the southeast side, the site of Sugarloaf Place. Bodies were found at Sugarloaf Place, and others were disturbed when the rail siding went in for the elevator and mill. Maps show one thing, but Vosberg said folklore suggests it may have been one large site. It was never an official cemetery, but there were burials with markings, she said of the site found Thursday. Vosberg said some of the markers and bodies were moved in the 1920s to Oakwood Cemetery on Lakeshore Road in Waynfleet and Overholt Cemetery on 3rd Concession in Port Colborne. Some were obviously not moved, she said, adding people might not have known there were remains still in the area. The remains were close to the Lake Erie shoreline, and the area has sandy soil. Vosberg said it was easier to bury people in the sand. According to reports in newspapers and letters from the time, that became an issue when high winds would blow the sand away, leaving coffins and remains exposed. Finding remains along the city's former waterfront is not uncommon, said Vosberg.